Okay, so in a previous video, we saw how to create a structure, how to create a structure variable, and how to access a structure variable, or you can say how to access a structure elements using structure variable. So we put some values inside structure elements using structure variable. We also print their values, right? So now in this video, we are going to learn array of structure. One important concept called as array of structure. So before that, we'll discuss one problem. Now, this whole thing, this whole program, can I say that this thing is responsible for holding data of only one student, right? Because there is only one structure. So if I want to store a record of two students, then what I will do, I will create two variables. I will create two structure variable. The first variable is responsible for holding a data of first student, and the second structure variable is responsible for holding a record of second student. Now, I will what I will do, I will repeat this whole thing again for second student. Okay, only replace S1 by S2. That's it. So this thing is responsible for taking input for first student, and this is responsible for taking input for second student. Now if I want to print the values of first and second student, then this thing is responsible for printing the values of first student, and if I want to print the values of second student, then what I will do uh, is this, right? Okay, I hope this is clear. Now what I have to do? Now, I have to store the values of 10 students. Then what will you do? Will you create 10 structure variable? No, obviously no. It is not a feasible way to create 10 structure variable. If I say 100 store the data of 100 students, then you will not create 100 structure variable. So there is a concept called as creating a structure array. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll create an array of structure and we'll hold the record of 10 or 20 or 100 students, okay, as per the requirements. So now my question is, how to create a array of structure. So if I want to store the values of 10 students, then obviously I'm not going to create 10 structure variables. So I will simply delete this part. Okay. Now what I have to do then? So what I will do, I will create a structure variable. I will create an array of structure variable. Say suppose I want to store the size. If I want to store the record of 10 students, then I will create a array of structure variable of size 10. So in this way, you can create an array of structure. It is as simple as that. But our job is not done yet. Now we want. Okay. Now, can I say that S1 of 0, S1 of 0 is responsible for storing the first record. S1 of 1 is responsible for holding a record of second student. S1 of 2 is responsible for holding a record of third student, and so on. And S1 of 9 is responsible for storing a record of S9. You can say that S1 of 9 is responsible for storing a record of last student. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to store the values inside S1 of 0, S1 of 1, S1 of 2, S1 of 3, up to S1 of 9. So again, we are not going to do it manually. What we'll do is we'll simply ask user and we'll create a for loop for that. So I'm creating a for loop over here. Okay. Okay. So say suppose I is equal to 0, semicolon, I should be less than 10, and I plus plus. Now, what we are doing here is, listen to me carefully now. Wait for a minute. Okay. S1 of I and S1 of I. That's it. Now, for the first iteration, for the very first iteration, the value of I will be what? Value of I will be 0. So this whole loop will get executed and will take an input from user and now will store it inside S1 of 0, right? Similarly, we'll take an input for marks and we are storing it inside a S1 of 0. Again, we'll take an input for name and we are storing it inside S1 of 0. So for the first iteration, the values are stored at S1 of 0. Now my I becomes 1. And for the second iteration, all these values are stored inside S1 of 1 and so on. So in this way, your for loop will get executed. Now, in order to print the values of S1 of 0, S1 of 1, S1 of 2, S1 of 3 up to S1 of 9, again, I have to create a for loop. As I is equal to 0, I shall be less than 10, I plus plus. And similarly, I will not write S1, I will write S1 of I, S1 of I, and then S1 of I. Okay, so this particular for loop is now responsible for the first iteration. It will print the values which are stored at S1 of 0. The second iteration, it will print the values stored at S1 of 1 and so on. So in this way, you will create an array of structure variable. So there are various questions which are based on this, like write a C program to hold, or you can say to write a C program to hold and print the values of 10 employees and so on. Like there are various questions which are based on array of structure variable. So in this way, we are going to create array of structure variable. For a practice purpose, you can try one program, like write a C program, write a C program to store and print the values, print employee name, department, and say suppose ID using structure ID of 5 employees using structure. So this is your practice program. Write a C program to store and print the employee name, department, and ID of 5 employees using structure. So by looking at this question, it is clearly mentioned that we want to store the record for 5 employees. That means I have to create an array of structure of size 5. So if you want, you can try this program. I hope the concept is clear. If you have any doubt, then comment down below.